Yes, so we are now live on Facebook. So this event is just to inform Kenyans, to give information to Kenyans about KRA compliances for diasporans. And today we have Muhia Kimani, who is going to give us more information, and you can ask questions. Those who have questions on KRA compliance for companies and individuals. So before we start, we'll have the event, just to inform you, the event is co-organized with KIFUA, the Kenyans in France Umbrella Association. And we have Dorothy, who is going to present just a small presentation. Then Munene will take over. He has an initiative in Kenya just to empower Kenyans, 5 minutes. And then Labord, 5 minutes. Also, he has something interesting. He's a Kenyan living in France. The son is doing ski and will be representing Kenya in the ski for junior sports. So she's going to tell us more about that. So Dorothy, haraka.
Okay, my name is Dorothy Karemi. I'm the acting treasurer of Kenyans in France Umbrella Association, that is KIFUA. KIFUA actually is just an association which was put up in order to bring all the other small associations, if I can call them small, that are right now in France. We are so many different groups to have a common, let's say, point where we can all bring our problems together and bring them, escalate them, maybe the embassy or maybe to Kenya as a group. Because as individuals, we won't be heard, but as a group, we have more power to be heard. So I'm the current treasurer right now.
Okay. The other team, we have Lady Aquinite. And we have also
Sophia.
And Sophia, who is there. Labda msalimia watu haraka, unless kama mtaki kusalimiana, we can go to the next.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
My name is Aquinite. Sorry, my voice is a little bit hoarse. I'm struggling with a cold. So my name is Aquinite Tamata. I'm the executive member of one of the executive members of KIFUA. I'm a Kenyan and I live in Lyon, but we work for Kenyans in France. Thank you.
Thank you, Lady Aquinite. Sophia.
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity and welcome, everybody. My name is Sophia Lavergne. I'm the new Secretary General for the KIFUA Association, and I'm pleased to be here to learn more about KRA and to be able to spread the word in France for the Kenyans. Asante sana.
Okay, thank you, Sophia. So before I give Munene the chance to talk, sijui kama kuna mtu mwingine hakuna mtu mwingine. So Munene, before I give you, we have Diana, who is also is in the Diaspora department of Optiven. Optiven, you know, Optiven, they have they're in France. They are not in France. They are in Europe now. So I think we'll be sharing more information on Optiven, where they are, or in France, in Germany. They'll be in Belgium. So one of the members of Optiven, who is in Europe, was supposed to be with us, but I think she's going to join later. Maybe if she comes later, she'll tell us where she is. In France, we'll be in France. She'll be in France on the 13th of May in Marseille, and Paris, she'll be in Paris later June during summertime. So watu wa Paris, msiseme Optiven imewatupa. They are coming to you. So Diana, I hope sijui kama if you would like to say something now. Normally Jorisha, she'll be joining us normally. So I hope she'll come.
Noah,
yes.
Thank you so much. I'm Diana from Optiven Real Estate. I'm the Diaspora Relationship Manager for the UK and Europe region. And it's a pleasure being here. And I'm happy that we've settled some of the Kenyans in this group. And also Jerusha will be joining us in a few. I'd like her to speak more about her trip because she's currently in Nuremberg in Germany.
Germany, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So just for information, all what I'm doing, the events which I do, you know, there are resources which are needed. They are being sponsored by Optiven, one of the companies, and there is also Nala, those who know Nala. So the platform is provided by these two companies. So thank you to Optiven and Nala. So Mugabe Munene, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Noah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jesse Mugambi Munene, and I am the Executive Director of Fit for Future. Fit for Future is a non-for-profit organization. Actually, it's a NGO, and we are more of an advocacy and development organization that uses evidence-based policy advocacy to inform sustainable development in our country or in our community. Our key areas of interventions are advocating for equality in the education sector. We do youth empowerment programs, and we also conserve Mount Kenya forest, which is one of the biggest water catchment towers in the country. And currently, there are two projects that we are implementing. One of them is called Trees for Economic Development and Sustainability. And through this project, we are working closely with the Kenya Plant Health Inspector and Inspectorate Services, that is KFIS, and the Agriculture Food Authority, because we decided that instead of doing the routine thing of going and planting indigenous trees in the forest, we propagate and graft 4,000 avocado seedlings that we gave to 800 women in a place called Chuka sub-county in Tharaka Nithi County last year. So this year we're in the process of doing the same, and we shall target 500 women by giving them 2,000 grafted ash avocado seedlings. So as a result of this, we shall have moved closer towards attaining the 10% forest cover in the country. We shall have also empowered quite a huge number of women by giving them these avocado seedlings, because in 3-4 years' time, they'll be making some income from it, and these will help them improve the economic status of their in the households. In addition to that, avocados are fruits. They are fruits that are quite rich in unsaturated fats, and by farming them, we will improve the health indicators in the country, because generally these are fruits that can be eaten by people. Then in the year 2021, the former president gave a presidential order of reviving 4K clubs in schools. This was aimed at having a generation that is environmental conservation conscious, and through this we were able to support 10 schools with avocado seedlings as a way of reviving, as a way of working with these schools so that we can raise a generation that is environmental conservation conscious, as well as propelling the revival of the clubs. Then there is also another project. Quite clear.
There is some noise, sorry.
Am I clear now? You can hear me?
Yes, yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry for that, please. Then there is another project that we're implementing. It's called the Sport for Transformative Change, whereby we are using football as a tool to give young people life-changing opportunities on and off the pitch. Through this particular project, we are working with 8 football teams, grassroots football teams, and our major aim is to ensure that we use soccer and connect young people with life-changing opportunities, both in the field and outside the field. As a result, we have 2 young men who've been able to join Strathmore University as a result of football scholarships. Both of them are studying Bachelor of Arts degrees in International Studies. We have 3 young men who joined a school by the name Ketu High School in Nyeri. This was through, it was courtesy of a football scholarship in that particular school. Tetu is one of the schools that does quite well in football in our region. Then we have one of our young men who was able to join a top tier club by the name Marafiki FC. Marafiki is a Division 2 team that plays in, that is based in Nyeri County. And very soon this young man will be relocating to Malawi, whereby he'll join a top tier team called Lumpi FC, whereby he shall be playing in a bigger league than he is doing in Kenya. And generally, the project benefits 200 youths directly and plays an instrumental role in ensuring that as a country, we move closer towards attaining the Vision 2030 of this country, and also supports a number of sustainable development goals. So when Noah was around, I think around 3 months ago, I managed to meet him and I shared some of this project with him. And he promised me that he'll give me such platform so that I can be able to interact with Kenyans. Because there are myriad of challenges that we are facing. Since the COVID pandemic, majority of civil society organizations or non-for-profit organizations are shifting away from the traditional donors that are usually based in Europe and in America. And we are using community-centered approaches and reads. For example, one of our biggest challenges that we've been facing is the mobility of our players. So last year in December, we managed to do a small fundraising because we wanted to buy an organization bus that can be used by our young men to move from point A to point B. So we managed to raise something little, and we've already paid 30% to the vendor who is selling us the bus. Our challenge is in raising the 70% which is remaining. But the good thing is that this bus, we are buying a second-hand bus because we couldn't be able to raise resources to purchase a new bus. And it's a bus that we are buying from a school. There is a school in Murang'a County that is selling their bus so that they can be in a position to acquire some resources and buy a bigger bus. So we've really tried to knock doors, and I'm sure by sharing these, I may get someone who might be interested in supporting us. So you can get in touch with Noah for more support. And lastly, there is a project that will be launching soon. It's called SHEI, Securing Health Through Advocacy and Youth Empowerment. This is a health system strengthening project whereby we are working with young people, policymakers, and the community so that we can address the unmet need for contraception that stands at 16% in Tharaka Nithi County. In this particular project, our core business will be working with policymakers and elected leaders so that we can have a clear budget line for contraception in the county government of Tharaka Nithi. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Munene. So like Munene said, I met him when I was in Kenya in January, and the project is doing back in Kenya is just to support the community. So I'll be sharing more information on my website about what he's doing. Those who would like to support him, maybe Munene, you can give your number, and I'll give also more information on my website. What is your number, Munene? Maybe you can give your number. Those who would like to contact you, they can contact you directly.
No, my number is 0734 486 042. That's the number that I usually use on WhatsApp.
Okay, thank you very much.
0734 486 042.
Okay, you can also, if you need to, if you'd like to support what he's doing, just contact me. I'm going to give you the number. So, so thank you very much, Munene, and we'll continue with what we are doing. And I'll see maybe also with the Kifua team, maybe we can see how we can also support on that. So thank you very much. So before I give the floor to,
I think Dorothy has a question, right?
Yes. Before Dorothy, maybe you have a question on the.
Yeah, on what Mugambi has said.
Yes, Dorothy.
I think I missed something on the project of the bus.
Yes.
Give us the figures of how much is missing.
Actually, the figures that are missing is 350,000 Kenyan shillings.
How much?
350,000 Kenyan shillings.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, we've really knocked doors, and we've been able to raise something significant. So our balance is 350,000 Kenyan shillings. And actually, our plan is that if we can get someone who can help us clear that particular balance, we shall give him or her the honor of saying that it was donated by him or her. We've really tried our best. So the 350,000 that is remaining, we decided that whoever will come to our rescue will also do him or her the honor of writing on the bus that this bus was donated by Dorothy Karemi, for example, for youth by Fit for Future.
Yeah, what was the capital? Sorry if I can ask. Just to know how much you've gathered so far.
Actually, the bus was going for around 800,000.
800?
Yes, because
Okay.
it's a second-hand bus. You can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
we can hear you. Yeah.
It's a second-hand bus, but since we didn't have our means, we decided to settle for the second-hand bus. And in addition to that, we are not using this bus for business purposes, not a matatu. So it's a bus that we shall be using only over the weekends to get our young men from Tarakanidi, from Chuka, to some place in Meru called Maua. They play the match, then they come back. Next weekend, we get them from Chuka in Tarakanidi, we take them to a place called Kalam in Machakos. They play their match and come back.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that we don't take a lot of time. So thank you, Munene.
Thank you very
Dorothy,
much,
I'm going
Noah.
to share with you the contacts of Munene so that maybe you can discuss with him and see maybe also how you can assist, or how you can, by assisting it can be financial, or it can also be spreading the news of their needs. So I'm going to share the information more on that. So thank you, Munene, on that.
Thank you very much, Noah.
Yes, before we go, kuna mtu ameweka sound kidogo, kama if you can put it off. Kuna mziki, si tutaki kusikiza mziki, but so before we go, we have before we go to the next, we have Josephine, who is with us. Josephine, he has the son who is in France, and the son will be representing Kenya for the first time in the Olympic Games for ski. So just before I give Josephine the floor to talk, I'd like just to invite Lois, who is the president of Kifua, just to greet people. Amekuja late kidogo. Saizi ni time ya watoto France kidogo, ndio sababu. Just say hi, because like I said, this event is co-organized with Kifua, Kifaransa.fr with Kifua. So Lois, maybe you can just say hi, and then we'll talk with Josephine Laborde.
Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry I was a bit late. I'm just rushing up and down my house with the children. So good evening, my colleagues are already here. I can see Dorothy is here. I can see Dorothy is our Honorable Treasurer. I can see Aquinite. They've already introduced themselves. Aquinite is the executive member. I can see Sophia. She's the secretary. And I don't know whether Jane is there, but I am the president. So those who've been following what has been happening in the group, we are now in office, and we shall be in office until next year. So you're all welcome to join us. You're all welcome to contact us. We have a website, kifumbrella.com. And in the website, you have all our contacts. So karibuni sana, and thank you, Noah, for inviting us to this event. Good evening.
Okay, thank you, Lois. So you can get more information is kifumbrella.com. I think so.
Yes.
Also, the information you can get on my website at kifaransa.fr. So we'll be working with I'll be working with Kifua oftenly to see how we can empower Kenyans in France. So Josephine and Issa, we have a Kenyan who will be skiing representing Kenya, and Issa is a Kenyan in France. So we are very proud of Issa, Kenyan in France. So Josephine and Issa, maybe just a word, and then we go to talk with Muhia.
T'as fini à manger? Va manger.
Good evening, everyone.
L'heure de manger. Very camera, you can put off your sound. Okay, I'll put off. Okay, so Laborde, I think it's Laborde.
Yes.
It's
Laborde. Good evening.
Yeah.
Laborde team.
Laborde team, yes.
This is Issa.
Hello, everyone.
That's the dad.
Hello.
Gael, and I'm Josephine. And so we've been living in the mountains since, I've been here since 17 years now. And Issa have been skiing since he started walking around 2 years old. And he's been practicing ski alpine and started racing at the age of 5. Last year, he asked us if it's possible he represent Kenya in the alpine skiing. So we said, why not? Then we started checking out. I started reaching out to Kenyan Olympic Committee to know if it's possible. It was hard to get them, but after I got them, I got some news from Sabrina, the only racer who's been racing for Kenya for the Winter Games. And last month, we had this opportunity to meet the president of the Kenya National Olympic Committee, as well as the secretary and the treasurer, who welcomed Issa into the team, making 2 people representing Kenya in the ski. That is Sabrina Simade and now Issa Laborde, who's here. He's going to introduce himself a little bit, and then I'm going to continue and talk about more about his project.
So, good evening, everyone. I'm Issa Laborde, and I'm 16. I wish to represent Kenya in Olympic Games and World Championships. This year, I introduced the Kenya Ski Federation, and that's all.
He's tried his best. We don't speak a lot of English at home. We speak a lot of French. And for the first time, he's going to represent Kenya next week in the junior international race. It's going to be his first. I think it's going to be the first time the race is called as KRA. I think it's the first time Kenya is going to be represented in the KRA competition. And the first thing we thought of when Issa asked about racing for Kenya is partnering with any company in Kenya, maybe to introduce the sport to Kenya, to make known the sport first of all, for those Kenyans who live outside Kenya, who live in the cold areas, and who can get to practice on the snow. And that's the first thing we thought of. And this sport is so expensive. And we normally have funds that are to help athletes who train in this sport that comes from the international committee that usually give to each athlete in each nation in order to prepare and qualify for the Olympics. Normally, we are in search for sponsorships or partnerships or collaborations here in France, and why not in Kenya, since Issa is going to represent Kenya, that will be more better. And the thing is more on sharing in sports, more in introducing the winter sport into Africans, especially those Africans who are living outside and who wish to have a connection between their country and their diaspora countries. I don't know if I have something else that I can add, Noah.
Yes, no, but for the moment, I think you have said all.
Yes.
I think Issa, it should be a subject by itself. Like the others who have talked, it's a subject by itself. Maybe we'll see one of these days we can do just something about what he's doing, and also to attract more people knowing about the sport, and maybe getting sponsorship, and also getting people assisting during the events. That will be
exactly.
when the events will be on. Normally, Josephine shares, and I'll always share on my Facebook page. So I'll also be sharing on the groups. I'll see with the Kifua team how we can be sharing that, so that we can say that we are proud of Issa, a Kenyan in France who is representing Kenya for the first time. It will be the first time for Kenya to participate in such event. If
next week, it will be the first time. But the first person who represented Kenya in the skiing, it was the person called Philip Boyd, but he used to do a cross-country skiing.
Okay,
cool. Another thing. Then it was in 1990s when he stopped. Then there's Sabrina who started, who came behind Philip, and Sabrina did it for the first time during the Youth Olympics, 2018, if I'm not wrong. And he's been racing for Kenya and representing Kenya. So Issa will be the third person from Kenya representing alpine skiing. No, sorry, will be the third person representing winter sport, because Philip used to do the cross country, but he's going to be the second one representing the alpine skiing.
Okay, so thank you. So, yeah, so I think that the fact that already is a Kenyan in France, we should be proud of that, all Kenyans who are living in France. So it's a call. I think that's a big call to companies in Kenya who would like to promote themselves in Europe, also during the sports. Like we were talking with Josephine, it can be having the jersey, having something. So for also those who would like information on that, just contact me. Josephine, maybe you can give your number.
Yes, I can give my number, no problem. My number is 0607 26 15 85. So you can either contact me, you can either contact Noah Muli, you can also contact the Kifua Association that's behind Issa and encouraging a lot Issa, because we need them also. We need this association who brings Kenyans together to encourage the Kenyans in France. We hope to get maybe other Kenyans who want to join Issa's the same sport here in France. And we also hope to have an association, a Kenya Ski Association in France, like that. It can be more easier to have partnerships, to collaborate, and to run it more openly for everyone.
Okay, so thank you. Issa, you can see the comments already. Bravo,
yeah.
Issa.
Thank you very much.
The fact we are behind you where we can. But they're saying very good English, Issa. So all the best, Issa, from Keisha. And congratulations, Issa, great milestone. Judy Absalom from Optiven. And Mary saying, Issa, bravo.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to everybody.
So thank you very much, Labord family. And
thank you to you.
I hope we'll do one of these sessions, just something about Labord family, who is representing Kenya, like we'll do also for Munene and the initiative is doing in Kenya. So thank you very much.
Thank you to you.
Yes. So now I'm going to invite, we're going to talk about KRA compliances for KRA compliance for companies and individuals. We know in the diaspora, we have to do KRA returns. Provided you have a KRA number, you must do a KRA return. So we have Muhia, and I think we have Judy has joined us just to join that on KRA. When we are buying land with Optiven, they always ask KRA, I think so. So if you have a KRA number, just don't forget to do your returns. So Muhia will talk about KRA compliance tax returns, and then we'll have Judy Absalom maybe tell us where they'll be in Europe with Optiven. In France, I'm just telling you in advance because I know the event will be in Marseille on the 13th, and in Paris it will come in June. So I'll keep you those in Paris updated. Maybe Muhia, I give maybe Judy atuambia rakaraka town zile anaenda, and then just Judy, you tell us the town you are going, because this Zoom meeting is also on Facebook or on Kenyans in France, and there are people who are watching and they'd like to know where you'll be. And then just tell us the towns you are going to be in and when, if you have the dates, and then we go directly to Muhia and he can expose to us about KRA.
Okay, thank you very much, Noah, and for this opportunity. And thank you everyone who is watching me. Jerusha Judy is my name. I work with Optiven, and currently I'm in Nürnberg in Germany. And yesterday we had a very wonderful time with Kenyans living, working and visiting Nürnberg, Germany. And we're planning now to next week, over the weekend, from 4th to 9th, we will be in Hanover. There's going to be a big event there, courtesy of Optiven and Bocage Entertainment. Then the whole time we will be in Guy Hotel. For those who can hear me from Hanover, I'll be there to meet Kenyans one-on-one. If you have any question, if you want to know more about investment or investing back home with Optiven, I'll be there to answer your questions. Then from there, on 10th up to 23rd, I'll be in Italy, Milano, and I'll be in Abacus Hotel. We have a dinner with Kenyans on 15th. I mark the date, and it will be in a place called Via Stefano Cazio. I may not pronounce it very well, but we're going to do a banner, so you'll see them on our Facebook pages. We'll keep on posting. From there, we will go to Stockholm, Sweden, for Kenyans that are working there, because we love to see Kenyans being empowered. In Stockholm, we will be in Stockholm Sea Hotel. That is where I'll be from 24th to 5th May. And on 29th, you're going to have a dinner with all the Kenyans in Sweden, Stockholm. Those who are in Malmo, Gothenburg, you can also come and join us, though my colleague Chris will be in Malmo almost around the same time. So you can choose to go either way, whichever is closer to you. Then from there, from 6th to 12th May, I'll be in Switzerland, Basel, and I'll be in Adagio Hotel. 6th, we are going to have a very nice time with Kenyans in Switzerland, and we are going to be in Johannes Park. It's a beautiful park for those who can Google it. That is where we'll be doing our dinner outside there, celebrating each other and talking about investment. So come one, come all, you're all invited. And then from there, as Noah said, we are going to be in Masi from 12th to 17th. Our dinner, I think he forgot to mention, it will be at Mama Africa restaurant, isn't it? Yes.
Yes, so, it will be at Mama Restaurant, Mama Africa restaurant in Marseille.
In Marseille, yes. And then I'll be in Paris with for a few days from 17th to 24th. We will communicate the hotel that I'll be in. Together we can be able to see Kenyans one-on-one, explain one or two things. I have some title deeds that I'm going to hand over to those people who invested before with us. So please just pass the message to the rest of the Kenyans. Let's pass the message to one another. Let's help each other get the information. And I believe by the end of it all, everyone will be happy. So preach the gospel or the good news of Optiven. Thank you very much. And I appreciate everyone who is here. Thank you.
So thank you, Jerusha, for that. Those who have not gotten the dates, you can get them on my website also, kifaransa.fr.
Sorry, no, I forgot to give my number for anybody
who give your number
to talk to me tonight. Yes. My number is +254 720 738 921. I come again, +254 720 738 921. I'm going to post on the chat area so that you can be able to capture the number. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Jerusha. Yeah, I think the flyer already they have shared. So thank you. You can get Jerusha, ukienda kwa Optiven Diaspora, or even on my pages, you can get to know more about Optiven and where they'll be in. So thank you, Jerusha. Now I'm going to invite Muhia, and who's going to tell us about tax compliance in Kenya. So there's somebody who is telling Jerusha, there's somebody who is telling you to write the number on the chat. So just check on that. So I'm going to invite Muhia, who is going to tell us about tax compliance for individuals and for companies in Kenya. So Muhia, I hope you already come on, and then we are going to leave Muhia just to tell us what he has prepared for us, and then you can ask for questions. I have many people who would like to know more about that. Just Muhia, to remind you, I have people also on Facebook who wanted some questions, wanted to ask questions. So just try to elaborate maximum possible, and then we'll go to the question answer section. So Muhia, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kimani Muhia, and I thank God that He has given us this opportunity to discuss about the matters that affect us. I will thank Noah. I think this is the second time that he has given me an opportunity to give some information to the diasporans concerning the tax obligation and accounting. And I'm also thanking my listeners for sparing some time to come and listen to us. So basically, I'll just share a small presentation that I have. I think, Noah, you need to enable me to do a presentation. No, you need to enable me to be able to do a presentation.
That's what I'm doing. Just a minute.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think now you can do the presentation. Check. Is it okay?
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Okay, we can see your screen now.
You can see my screen, eh? So basically, I'm the founder and the CEO of Hazina Business Solutions. Hazina Business Solutions is a consulting company, financial consulting, and it was born out of the need for doing accounting, bookkeeping for SMEs. This is to say small organizations that cannot afford full-time accountants. So we come in, lay out the procedures and the necessary books that are supposed to be laid out. Then at the end of the month, we come in and then we sort you out in terms of producing your financial results so that you're able to see your P&L, your balance sheet, and if you have creditors and debtors, you can be able to manage them well. Because sometimes the businesses do a lot of work, and if you don't manage well your debtors and creditors, then you find yourself you're losing money. So we have been on this journey since 2014, and we started off as a bookkeeping service, but after that we have grown to offer several services, including training and development, payroll, online tax reporting, tax compliance, company registration. I'm also a certified public secretary. I'm a CPAK, I have become and I have a master's. So, and we also do special project business consulting. Maybe to come and mention about the specific purpose why we are here. For the last 2 years, I've interacted with several diasporans, and I've come to realize that probably they are sitting there without realizing that there is obligation that they are supposed to do back here at home. And I'll start off with the first ones, the ones we call individual tax returns. If you are Kenyan living in the diaspora and you have registered with the Kenya Revenue Authority, we call it KRA, for PIN, then it means that you're supposed to do annual tax returns. So if you don't do the annual tax return, you start to incur a penalty of 2,000 per year. This is a requirement regardless whether you did business or did not do any business. I have, for the last 1 year, have done about 10 tax returns for people in the diaspora. And it's somebody who has never registered his old PIN into the new KRA system. So I had to do tax returns for them for the last 8 years. And as a result, you can multiply now that in each year's time, to that is 18,000. So to avoid this, it's always good to be doing your individual tax return by every 30th of June of the following year. You do, like right now, we are doing the ones for 2022. As far as the company returns are concerned, I know there are so many diasporians who have registered company back here in Kenya. And some of them probably they are dormant. They're not doing anything. Probably they own a property or two using the company. And probably they feel there is no obligation to do the tax return at the end of the year. But I can assure you, if you don't do, even if it's a nil return, you start a penalty of 20,000 per year. So if you registered your company in 2015 and you've never done an annual tax return, you multiply that by 20,000. You start to lose a total of like 200,000. And it's good to avoid that because that is money down the drain. The other section I'll talk about, because I've encountered it in my service, is the VAT. Many people register companies through the lawyers and or even through other people. And when they are registering the company for the PIN, they pick obligations that are not necessary, because probably you want to register a company to own a property, so you don't need to register for VAT or PAYE. If you register for them and you don't do the monthly returns, every month then you lose a penalty of 10,000. So if you have a company sitting somewhere, you need to move quickly and do your tax returns so that you can avoid losing that 10,000 per year. The same thing with the PAYE. PAYE also attracts the same penalty of 10,000 if you don't do the monthly return. And yeah, so it's good to do that. There is also something else that was introduced several years ago by the government to bring in the people who own properties, rental properties, and they have not been paying taxes. So the government said if you are earning rental income, an annual income of 10 million, then you need to pay 10% of that on monthly before 20th of the following month. Last year, this limit was increased to 15 million from 10. I think the government has realized that it's paying off, because when you pay the 10% rental tax, it is final tax. You will not do any other accounting at the end of the year or pay any other balance. 10% of the 15 million is final tax. So if you have a property here in Kenya and you have been collecting rent, probably it's a good chance to comply and do the tax returns, so that you can avoid that issue. Because when the KRA gets onto you, then you pay, the previous years plus the penalties, and it's a painful experience. Other taxes or obligations that probably even diasporians need to worry about is the withholding tax. If you have business here in Kenya and you are paying professionals, then you need to withhold 5%. If you are paying a lawyer, if you are paying an accountant like me, more than 24,000, then you need to pay withholding tax of 5%. Capital gain tax applies when you buy a property and now you want to sell it off. Initially, this capital gains tax used to be 5%. I think the government has decided they collect more money from the property sellers and they have raised that to 15%. Other duties that probably you may need to read about is excess duties, and the turnover tax and the advance tax. Maybe I can mention a bit about the turnover tax, because turnover tax is also a final tax. It's normally 1%. It used to be 3%, now it's 1%. This applies to small businesses with turnovers of 1 million to 50 million. If you have a business that you're doing that is not attracting anything to do with the holding tax, like you are selling some merchandise and you have got nowhere you are paying the withholding tax, then the turnover tax is a good tax for you, because once you pay the 1%, again, that is the final tax. You don't have to pay or do any other accounting at the end of the year. Advance tax is an issue of if you have a commercial vehicle, then you need to pay tax, like the Uber and the taxis and the matatu, then you pay advance tax on them. Just some small write-up there about some returning resident guidelines. If you are coming back to Kenya, the government allows you to bring in a single motor vehicle, and some of the conditions that you must fulfill for you to be able to enjoy this particular incentive by the government is you must have decided outside Kenya for 12 months, personally owned the vehicle outside Kenya at least 12 months. The motor vehicle must not be older than 8 years. You must have attained the age of 18 for you to be able to transfer that vehicle into Kenya. There are some other small incentives that governments normally give to the diasporans, and probably maybe some of them are not aware. It's good we can explore them further. And those are when you are returning home, nobody should ask you for taxes at the airport. If you are coming back with your wearing apparel, personal and household effects, which are in your personal or household use in the former place of residence. The other thing that is key for the diasporans to know is about something we call the residency status. For tax purposes, KRA considers you to be a resident in Kenya if you have a permanent home and were present in Kenya for any period in a particular year of income under consideration. It's like now for the Kenyans who work here, if you have a permanent home here, you're staying here, you have worked even for 3 months, then you need to pay taxes. But what affects the diasporans is the second point, where you do not have a permanent home in Kenya, but were present in Kenya for 183 days or more in a year of income, or present in Kenya in that year of income and each of 2 consecutive preceding years of income for periods averaging more than 122 days in the year. So if you come for 2 years and the average for those 2 years is 122 days, then the income that you get while you are here in Kenya is taxable here. Something else to note is about there's an explanation there about the effective July 2022, the Finance Act defined the phrase permanent home to mean a place where an individual resides or that is available to that individual for residential purposes in Kenya, or where, in the opinion of the commissioner, the individual's personal or economic interests are closest. Because sometimes you could be in the diaspora and there's a business that you are running here in Kenya, and that business is supposed to pay taxes here in Kenya, because even if you are very far away there, your economic interest is here in Kenya. So that income is deemed to be an income earned here in Kenya. If you have a company running a business here in Kenya, it's supposed to pay taxes here in Kenya. A company is a legal entity on its own, quite separate from you. The other point there I have is on, for those people who have maybe probably they have decided they will stay in the diaspora, they will never come to Kenya, they will not invest in Kenya. So probably they don't need the PIN. You can also apply for the PIN dormancy, or maybe for a period of time. If you want to stay for 10 years without doing anything in Kenya, you can apply for PIN dormancy for a time. The only problem with that is that they have to ask you for supporting documentation. That calls for them to check what you have been doing before. So if you have some tax gap somewhere, then they might catch up with you. So it's better you do a nil return until probably you decide to use the PIN for any economic activity here in Kenya. The other thing that diasporians could be forgetting is that when you have a company, you're supposed to do the secretarial part of the returns every end of the year. And of recent, the government has introduced this through the eCitizen, that every company that is registered is supposed to be updated on the eCitizen. So if you have not updated yours, it's good you update it. Because the moment you want to do some business here in Kenya, buy a property, open a bank account, they'll ask you for a document called CR12. And that CR12 can only be obtained if you have updated your company in the eCitizen. The other services we provide on behalf of Kenyans in the diaspora, company or business registration. If you need to register a business name or a company, we do those services at Hazina Business Solutions. We also do legal errands where lawyers are required. If you have some legal documents you want to be certified by the lawyers or agreements to be done by lawyers, you can do the errands to land to the lawyers, get the documents, ship them to you, sign them, and return them back. The other point, number C, is I wear two hats. I do financial consulting, and that financial consulting, I have done it like for 15 years in the tourism industry. I've been chief accountant for several big hotels here in Kenya. And I decided to start up a local company to do tourism, basically to sell and promote local tourism within East Africa. That company is called Where to Stay East Africa, and the website is called mykulala.com, a synonym for a nice place to sleep. So when diasporians are coming back to Kenya, I would wish to serve them in the capacity of getting them nice places to sleep all over Kenya. The other one was local evacuation insurance cover with Flying Doctors. That is in line with mykulala.com. If you are coming here in Kenya and you want to be covered in terms of if an accident happens somewhere, maybe in a holiday, and you have to be covered by the umbrella Flying Doctors, we can always get you that short-term temporary insurance cover. The other thing is that's that now any other area that you guys can tell us to do for you. We are trusted partners with you. We can always execute that for you. I have one of my colleague and partner in Mykulala in Hazina Business Solutions, and for a few minutes she'll take us through the project task management, so that you can be able to understand how serious we are on the services that we do. So when you give us your assignment, we execute it with a lot of professionalism. So I'll invite Naomi Gadoni, who is present here, to just take us through that final part of the projection.
Hi, good evening, guys. It's evening in Kenya. Thank you for this platform. I really appreciate it. I'm taking over from Mr. Kimani. And this is about Hazina Business Solutions as well as Mykulala. And we take seriously when we close on a business with our client, and we try to use the project task management, which is a process of managing tasks within a project that is planning and scheduling to make sure that it ends to a top-notch completion. So number one, we start with an initial meeting, that is having a meeting with the client, gathering all the information that is required, and also setting project goals and also objectives, and also assembling the team that is going to work with the team. That is the project team from our side, and also project team from the client. and the project sponsor, that is the client, and also other stakeholders that needs to be involved. For if I can give an example right now, is having a meeting with Muhia, myself, who's the operations manager, and also our financial team. Then the other side of the client could be the client who's a sponsor, and the other person who's going to link with us as we need any information from them. Then the other item is planning, and this is developing a scope or a project charter that highlights or shows when the project is supposed to begin, when it ends, to when each and every item of the scope is going to start or finish, and also budget timelines, and also resources. Resources could be a computer, or resources could be data, information from yourself, from the client, and also people. The other items now is executions, that is executing the project plan and managing the project team. And here we do back and forth meeting between ourselves and the client, making sure that we're giving updates on what is happening, and also providing a real-time visibility into task progress and also the performance, helping us to identify areas of any improvement, or if there's identifying if there is any gaps. The other one is monitoring and controlling. That is monitoring the progress of the project, managing changes, and also taking corrective actions as needed and when required. The last one would be closure. We ensure that we close as it's required, not just, for instance, if you're doing a project with you, we do here KRA reports, this is done. So miraculous, you don't expect that you know whether it's been done or not. So we'll make sure that you give a documentation lessons. We'll give a documentations with lessons learned, and also closing out the project and making sure that you're satisfied, and also we are also satisfied. And this builds better collaborations and also gives visibility in the project run through. Yeah, that is it from us, unless there's something else we need or any questions that you need us to answer.
So
I think maybe shortly.
Maybe we can continue. Yeah, continue, Muhia.
Okay, let me just conclude, Noah. Thank you so much, Naomi. So that's the end of the presentation. So if you need us for any of the services that we have mentioned above, you are always welcome. And we have a trusted team down there. That is myself. And we have another director, also a very qualified and experienced person. That's Naomi Gadoni, who was just talking to you right now. We have a financial accountant there, Hannah Murithi, and Ian Okech. So basically that is all about Hazina. But one more thing that I have been requested by some diasporians in the recent past is, and I'm researching on that and know how to handle that, is that I was told some diasporians who would want to invest in government bonds, the treasury bills and the bonds. And I think the process of registering for that and be able to move your money from the diaspora to the government coffers for treasury bonds, it's something I'm doing research on, and then probably I'll share that with Noah once that is ready. I think that's all from me and my team. Thank you so much.
So thank you, Muhia and Naomi, and maybe you love to answer questions of Kenyans. Huh? So we have understood that what Muhia is doing is will be assisting, can assist diasporans in declaring their taxes. Like he said, we are all obliged to do returns, whether we are earning money from Kenya or not. Otherwise, we have, if I'm not wrong, 2,000 penalty every year. And so we have already some questions. So those who have questions, you can either raise your hand or you write the questions on the chat. We have already some questions on the chat, Muhia. So maybe you can remove the share so that to answer questions, because people would like to understand people would like to understand how this thing works, and also to understand so that we don't find ourselves on the wrong side of KRA. Tunajua when we are wrong on the wrong side of the KRA, they are capable of taking a lot of things. Muhia, you have managed to, okay, I can do it from my side. So yes, so just the others, if you have a question, maybe raise your hand. You can raise your hand or write it on the chat. I have already a question from James Plotty from Optivena. James is saying we have Kenyans in the diaspora who fear investing back, pointing out that KRA will go for them or properties as they don't have dual citizenship. Kindly advise on these two. Thanks. James Plotty, Optiven. Where you got the question?
Yeah, I got the question. Thank you so much, James. Yeah, that is an issue that has been there for some time because of the citizenship issue, and it's good to sort out the citizenship issue. Otherwise, the current government we have has a lot of systems that are so interlinked that if you miss on one of the compliance, then they will always have a way of catching up with you. By this, I mean, the KRA system for tax purposes is linked with the e-citizen. It's linked with the registrar of company, immigration, and all that. So if there is a loophole somewhere in your investment plan, then it's not good to take that risk. It's good to abide with the law and do what is necessary to get the right citizenship for you to be able to invest without fear.
So in other words, if you have property in Kenya, you should declare your taxes. In other words,
yes, if you
that
have
you don't find yourself on the wrong side.
Exactly.
James, I hope Muhia has answered your question. So I think it's clear. Just declare your taxes if you have any property, and it's a must for every Kenyan living in the diaspora if you have Kenyan citizenship. James alikuwa ameuliza mambo ya those who don't have they don't have dual citizenship. For example, like in Germany, in France, we have this dual citizenship. In Germany, they don't have dual citizenship. What happens for those who have Kenyans who have German citizenship? It means that they are no longer Kenyans. Are they supposed to declare taxes so that they can, because they are going to buy land back home, for example? Or will the government know that they have German citizenship, or how does it go?
Probably if you have denounced the Kenyan citizenship and taken the one for Germany, then it would mean that if you're investing back here in Kenya, you'll be investing as a foreigner. That will limit you in terms of some of the investments you can do, because when you are a foreigner, you cannot invest in an agricultural land, right?
Sure.
But if you are a foreigner and you want to invest in a leasehold property, then you can. So that will be the only limitation in terms of investing in Kenya. But investing in a leasehold property, that will be quite okay.
Okay. Thank you, James. If you maybe kama uko na kusaidia hapo zaidi diasporans, maybe you can just ask other questions if you have. We have Keisha asking what happens when one has a business in Kenya and another in France. Should one declare whatever they make here in France to KRA?
No, if you have a business in France and you are paying taxes in France, then the taxes of that country are effective. But if you have another business in Kenya, the business in Kenya is the one that you need to pay taxes here, declare what is the taxes and pay them here.
So if I'm earning income here and I'm paying taxes here, I'm not obliged to pay in Kenya?
No.
Okay, that's I think what Keisha is asking. There's some times back on the WhatsApp groups, we had somebody who had said that the government is putting in place something, want to make us as diasporans pay for what we earn here, which I don't think the agreements don't work. Maybe Dorothy can tell us more on that. I don't know whether we can be double taxed. Dorothy, who is also a specialist in taxes here in France, maybe can say something on that, because I saw on the group somebody said talking about that on the WhatsApp groups. Dorothy, what you can say on that double taxation?
Okay, as far as I know, Kenya and France have put in place a DTA. Muhia can maybe tell me the contrary if I've understood it wrong. So you are either taxed here or Kenya. You can't have double taxation, not unless you don't declare your things correctly, because if you don't go through the right channel for declarations, you might declare something here and do the same in Kenya, thinking that it should be also, the liability goes to Kenya also. And I think when you have some complex declarations, we always go through the specialists like Muhia to avoid such situations. And I think that that post that had been put through, there was kind of a confusion between a diasporan like us, who are living here permanently, and an expatriate. And I think the key word was expatriate on that one. And here Muhia maybe can talk more on the permanent home, the notion of permanent home, which is a bit confusing if you don't understand the fiscal world. And that's, I think there's a confusion that was there, and I tried to talk in a simple language, but I think it didn't go through because there's what you call the income year. It means that from January to December, like we've said, the notion of 183 days or 122, blah, 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 should be considered, especially by us who go home often. I think that's why it's risky for us, because, but I would like Muhia to kind of explain this part. I'm not so clear about it. Do we understand the 183 days to be a continuous period? Or if I go 2 months now, then I go 2 months in between the year, and maybe 3 months at the end, I am dead? Or it's a whole period that should follow each other, like my 6.1 months should be a kind of a continuous period. Back to you, Muhia, for clarification.
Yeah, thank you, Dorothy, for that explanation. Yeah, the 183 days they are not continuous. If you come for 2 months, you skip another month, you go and come back, you know, they look at 183 days in a year, regardless whether you came and stayed together or you stayed in peace.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that is clear. Yeah, so it is the days can be 1 month, 2 months, per another 2 days after they combine the days and check if the total of the number of days.
The only one thing I can also add there is that, okay, in my experience, I've never seen somebody who is followed up on the number of days they stayed in Kenya. It is still an area where probably they haven't put administrative machineries to be monitoring people on the number of days they stay in Kenya for them to determine the residency in terms of taxes. So it's still an area that is not explored. So I would encourage people not to fear that much.
I will add on that one, sorry. Knowing that there's also the other convention that has been signed through Kenya and France to avoid escape of taxation. Not the DTA, this is another one, but in corporate world. I would like just to draw attention on people that from the French world, they have that the machinery to know, because all the institutions have been now put together in a way that when you take the plane, you leave for Kenya, they can know. So I think the data would come from when Kenya will ask France, can you give us the data of Dorothy? How many days has she been coming here? And they have the freedom to ask that. So I think it's risky to say, don't fear, just be clean in your work. Because they get to you, you just find yourself, you have to pay a lot of arrears, which is not good. So from this side, I can tell you for sure, they know when you quit. When you get the plane every time, you go to even, anytime you go, the customs are linked with everything. So they know when you go out, when you come back. And I think it will be the Kenya, even if they don't put in place the machinery, they have the French working for them. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dorothy. There is Keisha asking what happens after the 183 days. Keisha, maybe you can unmute yourself ufafanue kidogo on the question. Unless Muhia, you understand the question, what happens after the 183 days?
Yeah,
Keisha? Maybe she can't talk. Yeah.
Yeah, probably what she meant was if you croak the 183 days, then what happens? It means that you are a Kenyan as far as that year is concerned. So if you have some businesses that you have been doing, then you need to declare them here in Kenya and have them taxed here in Kenya after the 183 days are over.
That's also for the salary, by the way. Also
yeah,
for the
Keisha,
salary. Yeah.
Yes, Keisha, she's there. Maybe ufafanua Keisha, please.
Yeah, I hope hamski kelele. I was trying not to speak because kuna kelele kwa background.
Okay, just go ahead. Hakuna shida.
I just wanted to ask, like after the 183 days, so what are the consequences of kupitisha the 183 days? Because he said if I have a business, I have to declare regardless of whether I come to Kenya or not, right?
Yes,
if
whether you have a business
running in Kenya.
Yes, whether you have a business or not, if hata kama una business, you have to do your return.
Have to.
Yes,
Yeah.
you must. Yeah, you
must. If I come to Kenya and then I petition the 183 days, so what happens? Like, what happens after the 183 days?
I think there are I would say there are two scenarios here, because you can come back here in Kenya and stay here on holiday for 183 days. Basically, you're not doing any business. And I would imagine that the government doesn't want you to declare something that you have not made. So if you come here and stay for 183 days and you're just enjoying your money from the diaspora, then you have got nothing to declare. So at the end of the year, you just need to do your usual nil return. But if there is anything that you will do, whether it's for 1 month or 2 months, that is accruing some income when you are here within those 183 days, then the government is saying you need to declare that as an income. Let's say like if it's Dorothy and he's in my field in terms of financial consulting, then she comes here, then 183 days, she hangs around with some fellow friends who have problems, and she advises them on some few things, even about the diaspora and all that, and they pay her some money. That money is taxed here. That's what it means.
Okay. Keisha, it's okay for you?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
No, I have something to talk about that.
Yes.
As far as I understand, and out of experience, let's say, for instance, I'm an employee in France right now, like I am. Or if I'm employed here, I'm earning my income. As far as I've not gone to Kenya for 183 days, any income is taxable here, isn't it? I mean, social contributions and the stuff. I think the question becomes a bit complex if, of course, maybe I've worked for 2 months here, so I have earned some income here in the fiscal year, and I come for those 6.1 months in Kenya. My understanding is that all my taxable income for that year is transferred to Kenya. Is my understanding correct?
Yeah.
Dorothy, I want to maybe clarify there in terms of if the countries have an issue of double taxation, the agreement, then the income that you have earned in France, even if you are here and it's already taxed in France completely, then there's no way you would declare the same here. But if there are some countries where there is no double taxation, then the income equivalent to the 183 days that you stayed in here, but the income was earned in the foreign country, then that you declare that here and get the taxes paid.
Okay. I have another question on Facebook. Somebody's asking, what happens for if you have not declared your taxes, maybe because of medical reasons, maybe you have been hospitalized here in France and you can't declare your taxes. Can KRA do something on that? I think the question here is the person maybe was hospitalized and could not declare his taxes. Maybe I think of getting a waiver or something like that by proving that the period when he was supposed to do the taxes, the person was in hospitalized. So meaning that he was was not in the capacity of doing the returns.
I think the capacity to do the returns, if you are capable of doing the tax return, can be delegated to somebody to do it on your behalf. Because I would imagine if I'm not feeling well and Hazina Business Solutions is being run by Naomi, that does not stop me from doing the returns for Hazina if I'm in France for even 1 or 2 years on medical reasons. Because the business is a legal entity on its own, quite separate from you as an individual. So the company would learn whether I'm there or not. Yeah.
So in other words, in that case, it would be the best thing. It would be to use an agency like you, Hazina, yes, to do the taxes on our behalf. And on that case of the person who is asking, can you ask a waiver on behalf of the person? Is it possible? Or even for example, me, I've not done my taxes, because I've heard that you can ask for waivers if maybe you have not done your taxes. Is it possible, like, for your company to ask for waivers for clients?
Yeah, it's possible to ask for waivers for taxes, but mostly they happen when probably something wrong happens with your PIN. Like, let's say if a lawyer registered you for VAT obligation or PAYE obligation, and you didn't have any employees, or you didn't do any business to warrant you to submit VAT or PAYE, you can do that application on iTax for waiver of those taxes. It's possible to apply for waivers, but they take a lot of time to be passed on by the government, because the government leader doesn't believe what you are saying. It's like they want to dig deep and see whether you probably operate on that you want to evade paying taxes. But yeah, it is possible to apply for waivers, but they take a bit of time because they also do their own due diligence to make sure that you're not running away from paying taxes.
Okay, I think the best thing for the person who is listening on Facebook, the best thing it will be to get maybe Muhia's number and contact him directly, and then discuss on how we can help you. I don't know whether there's anybody who has a question. Come in the group, there's somebody who has a question. Just unmute yourself and ask the question, and then I don't know. Okay, but as we wait, I have another question also on Facebook. So the person is asking, I have rental income in Kenya. Just a minute. I have rental income in Kenya. Should I do my tax returns?
Yeah, I mentioned on my presentation that if you are in the diaspora and you own a property that is attracting rent, the government requires you to pay 10% on before 20th of the following month. So if you collected 40,000 last month, and you need to pay the 4,000 before 20th of the following month. And I mentioned that is final tax. Once you pay that, end of the year, you just do a nil return, because you've already done your rental tax return, and that's it.
What you want to say is, for example, I have rental tax. I have to declare it monthly.
Yes.
Is it only on rental, or does it concern, for example, I have a matatu in Kenya which is earning money? Also, that is monthly. If it's business, it's monthly.
No, for there are some businesses that are exempted from some taxes, like the matatu business are exempted from paying VAT.
Okay.
So you don't pay VAT on on business, matatu business. But if you have a property, and you're collecting rent on that is 10%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other business can be
any other type of business. If you're operating a business selling things or services that are vatable, there is what you call the limits. If your business is from 0 to 5 million, then you don't register for VAT. If you hit 5 million, or you have an idea that by the end of the year you'll hit more than 5 million, then the law says that you register for the VAT immediately and you start paying VAT.
Okay, but for housing, it means even if I'm getting 10,000, I must pay.
Yes, the 10%.
Okay, good. I have another question also. It's just a minute. I don't have a KRA number. I don't have a KRA number. Yeah, PIN. What are the consequences?
The consequences are you'll not be able to invest in Kenya.
Okay.
Because anything that you want to do here in Kenya relating to business, whether it's getting a license, whether it's buying a property, whether it's selling things, then you require the PIN. So the day you would want to start businesses back here at home, if you don't have a PIN, make an effort of registering for the PIN well before you start the business.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll be requested to have the PIN. Okay. I hope the person is satisfied with the answer. There's somebody who had raised a hand, but I cannot see who is it. It was Dorothy. Ama ilikuwa ni kitambo hiyo Dorothy?
No, this on the residential income rental.
Okay.
Yeah. Me once again from Muhia, just to clarify my understanding, having understood that I am a non-resident in Kenya, but I'm doing business in the rental world. I understood that I cannot deduct any charge. There are no deductible charges for non-residents, but a resident can deduct those charges prior to paying taxes. Is it true? For instance, I have a watchman, I have cleaners, all those. These are, for me, these are deductible charges for a company. But, okay, this time I'm a company, let's call it that way. I have my returns to submit. So I have my revenues and I have my charges. What I understood is that if I'm doing so as a non-resident, I don't have right to deduct my charges. But for a Kenyan company, they have, like any other company, they have a right to do so. Is your understanding the same as mine? Because when I was reading that, I was like, why so? And we are both companies investing for the same thing in Kenya.
Oh, yeah.
Dorothy, if I got you right, if you have a company and you are a Kenyan, there are what we call allowable expenses for running the business. And what the government says is that if you are doing a business, like let's say for you are a real estate person, and probably you are collecting rent that is more than 15 million, because the 10% only applies to less than 15 million. So if you're earning more than 15 million, then you will do your accounts end of the year, declare your income, then you deduct all the expenses that are associated with the generating that particular income or rental income, and then you only pay taxes on the balance. And whether this property is owned by a Kenyan resident or a foreigner, the allowable expenses are still the same. The only thing that differ is probably the corporate tax, right? If you are opening a company here, which is a subsidiary of a foreign company, then the corporate tax that is applicable is 37.5%. If it's a local company registered here with no head office or holding company in the foreign country, then the tax is 30%. But in terms of expenses, any expense that you incur in generating a taxable income, then all of them are allowable. Although there are some few areas where they put some limit. Like if you have a company, they allow you as a director to spend like 1 million on your medical expenses. So if you spend more than 1 million on your medical expenses as a director, then the other balance is deemed to be a benefit and it's taxable on you.
Okay, because I think I had read something and I was like, why should it be different for a non-established, a non-resident versus a resident? So it's good at least you clarified that for me. Thank you.
Yeah, and then maybe one more thing, Dorothy, there is that, okay, Kenya government is really doing much in terms of attracting the foreign investor to come and invest here. You remember a long time, it was very difficult even for a foreigner to have a PIN. You had to get a work permit, and then you had to prove that you have like 10 million for you to be able to. It was the process was a bit elaborate. But nowadays, if you just want to come and own a property here, all you need to do is just process your PIN, and your PIN is just taking like a week or so long as your passport is fine, and then you can invest in your real estate. I have one of my customers here called Marion. I don't know whether she's still here. I do her monthly rentals here. She's from Netherlands, and yeah. So I think the government is also trying to bring in some ease of doing business by allowing people to invest without having to worry so much about some procedures.
Okay, thank you, Muhia. Maybe we can give you a number for those who want to learn more about taxes, those who have houses, rentals in Kenya, or maybe some errands to do. And also those who will be assisting in Optiven events who want to buy land, because I think Optiven also they ask for the KRA number so that the title deed should to be transferred, if I'm not wrong. Judy, or maybe I saw James, maybe you can confirm that for all you Kenyans in the diaspora who buy with you. Do you need KRA numbers or something like that, so that we can be prepared in advance? I don't know, maybe somebody can tell us that.
Yeah, thank you, Noah. I don't know whether my colleague James is hearing. Maybe he can say something, but I can also say it's true for everyone in diaspora who is investing in land. The first thing they ask when they want to do the title transfer is your KRA PIN. So you have to have your KRA PIN for your title to be transferred, maybe from Optiven name now to your name. It's mandatory. You can't escape it. So it's good to have your KRA PIN. And in case you invest with us and you're maybe stuck somewhere, we have a team that does documentation. They work hand in hand with the registry. So there's a way we can help you or assist you or guide you on how to apply for the KRA, just in case you're stuck. But nowadays they do it on e-Citizen. It's simple.
Okay,
thank you. Maybe James has something to say.
Maybe James, anything to add on that? That applies even if you are buying from other companies, not only Optiven, or investing in anything back in Kenya, provided you are in the diaspora, or even in Kenya, you must have a KRA number. James, maybe something to add? Naona anaeka kidole hivi. Kusema hivyo Jerusha amesema ni sawa. James ni huyo.
Thank you, Noah, and thank you to all the team who are present. And I'm learning a lot also from Muhia. You know, I'm an investor, so I have to keep watch and know in case I'm getting some penalty somewhere and I'm not aware. But as Jerusha, my colleague, has said, for you to invest in real estate currently in Kenya, it is a must for you to have a KRA PIN. It is a must, it's a government requirement, and it's also security for your properties so that no one can transfer the title deed behind your back. The government will request for them to have your KRA, and if they cannot produce that, then the government knows that it's an illegal dealing. So yes, KRA is a must. But something I wanted Diaspora here to maybe clarify, I am an investor in freehold land, and sometimes we buy land that is not generating any income. Nile ya kununua tu kuwekea watoto, in the future watakuja kuipata. And when I'm filing my returns, I've never seen anywhere they are charging me for tax on that land. Maybe you, Muhia, you can clarify, because we have a number of Kenyans who are also in Europe and they have invested in the freehold land, if they attract any tax or it's free. Nisikuanga tu nakaa na title deed zangu kwa nyumba alafu siku moja nipate niko na kapenalty mahali. Thank you. Back to you.
Nini James, upate uko na penalty ama wakwambia hiyo land wanaichukua sababu uko na penalty nyingi? Muhia, saidia James.
Yeah, James, thank you so much for that question. I think when you own a freehold land, there are no taxes that are applicable on freehold land. The only thing that you may need to worry about is you need to monitor the planning of the government, because sometimes the government normally put some places under let's say like the county government, they put them under the leasehold. Sometimes when you hear them talking about the metropolitans, the Gong area is becoming a metropolitan, Kitengera. Sometimes they normally convert now those leasehold properties, rather freehold properties, into leasehold. So at that point, maybe that's the only time then you need to worry about the rates to the council, to the county council, and also the land rent to the Ministry of Lands. So for any other person who hold a property under the leasehold, then they need to make sure that they update their rates every year and they update their land rent every year. But for freehold property, just keep your title safe-free, but keep on monitoring what the government is doing.
Okay, thank you on that. Maybe the last question, then today we can call it a day. I have from Facebook, for non-Kenyan citizens, are they given a PIN? I think the person is asking if non-Kenyan citizen can be given a KRA PIN if they are not residing in Kenya.
Yeah, it's possible. Nowadays they have opened that you know, it's I would call it unlocking the problem, because initially it was very, very hard for a foreigner to have a PIN. But nowadays, when you have your passport and then you have got no criminal history of, you know, those money laundering things and all that, then it's possible. I think for the last like 2 months, I have registered PIN for like 5 non-Kenyans. So yeah, it's possible.
Okay, so you can contact Muhia to know more about that, maybe for more information. Yeah, we cannot tackle all the questions. You know, Muhia is there to assist you. I've seen already has put his number on the chat, +254 722 627472. If I'm not wrong, +254 722 627472. And yeah. Or by mail, Kimani@azinabusinesssolutions.co.ke. So those who'd like to contact Muhia on WhatsApp, those who are in Kenya, like James, directly, or those in the diaspora through WhatsApp, you can contact Muhia. So I don't know whether you have something to say, Muhia, before we finish.
I would say thank you so much, Noah, for giving me this chance to address the Diasporans in France, and I look forward into serving you. There's somebody who told me that if you want to do business, then trust is what is needed, and I can assure you that we do our business with a lot of trust and confidentiality, and we look forward to serving you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Muhia. I think everybody, we just thank Muhia for the information, what we have learned. And this Keisha would ask a question before, if we can share the slide, the document you had prepared. I'm going to share it on with Keisha. If anybody wants it, I can share with it because I have it. So I'll share. I think I'll share with the Kifua team so that they can share on the groups. Because it has contacts from Muhia at the same time. So thank you everybody for being with us and learning more. Thank you, Munene, those who want to assist, those who would like to assist Munene. I think he has written his number somewhere. Munene, where is the number of Munene? I'm looking for it. Maybe you can remind us your number, Munene. I cannot get his number, sir. I thought I had it somewhere. So wale wameingia late kidogo, you can, after the video, you can go on Facebook, Kenyans in France. You are going to hear about Munene, about what he's doing back in Kenya, and also Labord, the family Labord, what they are doing. So Munene, maybe you can give us your number kama uko nayo, but akiangalia before I unmute, also for those who want to interact with Optiven, we have Jerusha who is in Europe. The number is 254-7207-8921. You can contact her through on WhatsApp. Then there was another number which was shared. It was okay, for Munene I've got it, 254-7344-86042. I'm going to share also those numbers with the Kifua team so that they can share with those who would like to interact with them. So thank you very much, and I hope next time we'll talk of something which is going to empower more Kenyans in France and in the diaspora. And I'd like to thank very much the Kifua team who are with us, and we were preparing this event with them. Next, I think we'll be preparing about taxes in France, because there are many things people don't know about taxes in France. For example, one of it is when you send money to assist associations like the one of Munene, or even send money to your family back home, you can get a tax reduction here in France. So next time we'll be organizing with Kifua or something on taxation in France, and where you can get reductions. So supporting activities in Kenya, supporting what Munene is doing, you can get some, I don't know what, if I can call it a cashback or I don't know what, but you'll be getting some reduction. We have, I think, if I'm not wrong, 75 or 65%. Dorothy, is it 65%, something like that? Also, when you send to your parents, so why not support our people back home for a better future? So thank you very much, everybody, and I hope to see you soon. And kwaherini kila mtu. Bye bye.
Asante, bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.